Excited to be here, and thank you all for coming. Is there anyone who hasn't been to the social media breakfast yet? One. All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And we'll just give you a quick, brief overview. Our social media breakfast started in December of 2011, and we get together for networking, breakfast, and coffee once a month, first Friday of the month. And basically, it is a national group, and there's other groups starting all over Minnesota, actually. So Hutchinson, Wilmer followed after us. Heather's here from the Wilmer group. Hutchinson, Lakefield, Worthington, now Pipestone starting, so it's been really fun. So thank you all for being part of the event. I do want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors. Our biggest supporters and fans are all of you, of course, but we have great sponsors too. The Sand Trap for letting us have the event here. Kind of fun to be upstairs this time, huh? Nice view. Also, MDTV Wireless and Southwest Initiative Foundation are sponsoring the event, and Christy and Fawn Harvest Land and Aquas for helping us record the events. I didn't tell you guys we were recording, did I? No. Sorry. Yes, that's right, absolutely. How many of you were able to attend the Rockstar event? I see faces. Yay! What'd you think? Wasn't it awesome?
Yes.
We had a fun time. I hope you guys did too. One cool thing that this group will appreciate is that our hashtag SM Rockstar event was trending for Minneapolis that day. Yay! Right below iOS 7, number 3. So we were really excited about that. Yeah, that was awesome. You can find, I just want you to know that if you didn't make it, you can find all the tweets, the information based off of the hashtag SM Rockstar event, and also on our Facebook page and the website too. So head on over there if you want to check out some of the presentations. So I also have to say a really quick thank you, because I forget to do this and it's bad of me. Thank you to Colleen for always being here to help whenever we need any help with the breakfast. My mom, Judy Birgit, she does our name tags every Thursday night and gets our coffee and get things lined up, so thanks to her. And then also to Jesse, my husband Jesse always does our sound and our setup, so thank you to them very much. Either one of those two are here. So I want to introduce to you our panel today. I am so excited to introduce this group. These three we met. I have more social proof here. We'll bring it up. These three, we met, Colleen and I met when we were at the Social Media Marketing World Conference in San Diego in April. And we were at the first night of the social networking party, and I don't even know how we ran into you three.
At the cocktail bar.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true, it was at the cocktail bar. And we must be Minnesotans, because we're like, hi, how are you? Where are you from? Minnesota? No way, me too. Wait, you're all three from Minnesota? So we had a really good time with that, and basically we got to talking, and we told them all about our breakfast, and they were like, we'll come. We thought, can you come out and talk with our group? And they definitely were excited to come. So here they are, and we're really excited to have you here. So thanks for getting up at 3:45, Laura? Yeah. Wow. We owe them. So I want to introduce you first to Christina Milanowski. Christina's on the end over there. She's a social media director and account supervisor at Minneapolis-based Mcafee Public Relations and writer for Mcafee PR blog.
Yes, you should all subscribe.
Yes, she's a good writer. She has more than 8 years of experience developing PR, social media, and marketing strategies. Christina recently earned the Young Professional Award from the Minnesota chapter of Public Relations Society of America. She's co-chair of the Minnesota PRSA membership committee and also serves on the planning committee for the 2013 Minnesota Blog Conference, which is next weekend, Saturday, October 12th in St. Paul. Mcafee is a strategic public relations and online marketing agency that offers clients marketing insights and inventive campaigns. Founded in 1996, Mcafee specializes in media relations and product publicity, social media and interactive strategy, guerrilla promotions and events, and corporate and crisis communications, speech and media coaching, online enabled video, and web analytics and online reputation monitoring. The agency has been honored with numerous awards, including PR Campaign of the Year, Best Cause Marketing Campaign, Best Viral Marketing Program, Best New Media Retail Marketing, Special Event of the Year, and Best Publicity Campaign. I have her Facebook page up on the screen, so go ahead and jump over there and give them a like. And Christina's on Twitter, and so is Mcafee. So thank you for coming, Christina. Next is Justin Fuller. Justin. He's the recruiting marketing analyst at Stream Global Services. He has more than 8 years of experience in social media, internet marketing, media planning, and consulting. At Stream, Justin uses his experience with media to fill applicants across all 13 sites in North America. Prior to joining Stream, he was senior marketer at Thomson Reuters, where he worked on social media, current awareness, and thought leadership. Justin brings knowledge from having worked in many different segments over the years. Justin is also the marketing director of this church, Mount Sinai in Minneapolis. Stream is a customer-driven global business process outsourcing company that provides sales, customer service, technical support, and complex outsourcing services. Stream transforms customer care and clients' brands by being a resourceful industry leader, which leverages ingenious and caring employees to transform customers into client fans. Our support professionals deeply care about customers and make the right decisions at the right time, enabling Fortune 1000 companies to increase revenue generation, operational efficiencies, and brand loyalty. So welcome, Justin. I have their website up here. Oh, we have a video up. Sorry about that. It's stream.com. And make sure you visit stream.com and you have all of your social and Facebook and Twitter links there too. And next up we have Laura. Welcome, Laura. Laura is a member of the public relations team at Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Minnesota, where she supports the company's public relations and social media efforts. Prior to joining Blue Cross, Laura worked at Lutheran Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota, where she provided marketing communication support, including social media guidance across the organization. Her professional experience in social media includes strategy development, channel oversight, content development, and managing social media crisis. She recently led the launch of Blue Cross corporate Facebook page, which we're going to look at. Actually, it's up right now. And the Facebook page for Online Care Anywhere, Blue Cross's telemedicine service, which included an integrated marketing campaign at the Minnesota State Fair. So, Blue Cross and Blue Shield Minnesota has nearly 2.7 million people depend on Blue Cross and Blue Shield to manage their health needs. Blue Cross is the largest health insurance plan in the state, with members located throughout the Twin Cities and across greater Minnesota. The company is part of a nationwide Blue Cross and Blue Shield system that serves nearly 99 million members in the United States. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota provides customized solutions for a range of different customers, including individuals, employers, and federal, state, and local governments. So thank you all for coming, and what an awesome diverse group we have here with great backgrounds and different companies that you work for, so thank you. So what we're going to do today is basically ask them some questions about their experience with social media, the web, in their businesses, and we're going to get their insight and learn from them all that they have to offer on what they do in their jobs with social and the web. So our first question is, how has the evolution of social media changed your industry or business?
Hello. Uh-oh, I have a mic. Well, this actually is an easy question for me, and I think we all have interesting and diverse ways to answer a lot of these questions, but working in a public relations agency that traditionally did event marketing, media relations, publicity, social media has changed our industry like gangbusters. It's given us a whole new channel to connect with the public. So I think that it's been really exciting to watch the shift from traditional PR to online marketing, social media, and social public relations. Our agency is doing a lot more with social media. We have tons of clients, B2B, B2C, who still don't have a Facebook page, aren't on Twitter. Maybe they should be on Facebook. That's a chat we had in the car this morning. It's not right for every company, but there's a lot of infancy left in social media, so there's so much opportunity. And it's also opened the door for a public relations agency to be more of a web online marketing specialty firm, thinking about how your content not only goes to journalists, to your ultimate audience, but how much you can control all of that online. So it just has been really exciting to watch the evolution, and I think we're just starting.
So with our industry, I work with 13 different sites all across North America. and we have call centers in the industries for Fortune 1000 companies. So for us, when I first started, we had a corporate brand online. We had no local brand for each of the sites to build relationships through social media. So right now we have Facebook, we have Google AdWords, Google Places for the local people to understand, to be able to communicate with us on a local level and build a relationship and a rapport with everybody. Before we had recruiters in each area that were throw advertising in different areas. So the challenge has been trying to figure out what we can do as far as advertising to build the local community for us to get social and active, eventually go into Twitter and other areas of social media, but we're just in a fresh beginning of that area right now. Like Christina was saying, a lot of businesses are just fresh in social media still. Some don't have it.
So speaking of fresh in social media, Blue Cross's Facebook page is looking gold. I'm very proud. That's why we only have 74 likes. I know we're a $9 billion company and we have 74 Facebook fans, good for us. But we are growing. That was one thing that I learned. Healthcare is, as we all know, changing a lot, especially for us in healthcare insurance. And so social media is a big part of that. We have to talk to consumers now. Pretty traditional B2B area. I mean, women provide individual plans, but that's still a very small part of our business. Most people get insurance through their employer. So we really have to think kind of carefully about what is talking to people need and what do they care about. What do you care about from Blue Cross and Blue Shield? I'm not going to tell you about your insurance plan and Medicare. That's pretty boring. So that's where social's really changed for us, where we can be subject matter experts on things that matter and provide input and guidance. And for us, a lot of our Facebook page is about celebrating living in Minnesota. So it's beyond just being the place where you can go that you know if you have to go to the hospital that you're covered, but we want to celebrate what makes being Minnesota great. We have it in our name, so that's where social really brought us into a new place. And I work on the public relations team, so it's very traditional media relations, but this is a whole new channel. So how do we talk to people in new ways and share messages of services that we offer that normally we don't really talk about because it's hard to use and pick that up. So that's where social's really given us a great opportunity to engage with people.
Can you hear us okay back there actually? No?
Can you hear it back there?
A little louder.
Louder?
Okay.
Is this better? Yes? Okay.
Can't shy away from the mic. And I think too that you're open to questions if people want to chime in at any time too. Raise your hand, we'll get you in there. But those are excellent topics, and it is very true about how social is affecting each one of your businesses so much differently. But yet, all kind of sounds like the relationship side of it, which we'll talk a little bit more too about. Can you share a case study of a really challenging yet rewarding social media project that you've been involved in with your business?
Yes, I can start. For me, we started a Facebook page, as I was saying, for each one of our local sites about a month ago. And it's grown dramatically. Each site now is getting almost over 100 likes. And also we're doing Facebook ads. Before, I've never been a fan of Facebook ads, but I feel now that that's the way it grows, especially in our community. With the Facebook advertising, you gotta spend a little to make a little. And we're getting a lot of results. With our industry, we focus mostly on filling applicants. You know, with any kind of call center industry, there's a lot of constant turnover. So we gotta fill applicants through different areas of social media, build relationships. Before, they kept on spending a lot of money on traditional advertising, which there's nobody to track the ROI in that. So trying to get engaged more by working on retention and also getting involved in the community by just getting more of a current awareness in the community on what Stream's all about. A lot of people don't know. So we're doing that through social media to build that rapport with everybody.
My challenge is a micro challenge, but I know Laura has a nice big fun one that she's alluded to a little bit already. But one of our clients at Mcafee is Hazelden, the Drug Rehabilitation Center, main campus in Center City, Minnesota, but locations throughout the U.S. And big thought leadership position for that company, leaders in what is the latest treatment for addiction, how does depression and other mental health issues, how do those affect substance abuse issues? So they had this huge catalog of videos that they had taken and posted on YouTube throughout the years since, I don't know, when was YouTube even launched? Like 2005? Okay, so they started in 2005, I would say.
They
because-
had it when we got married in 2007 for a video, wedding videos, and it was just not long before that.
Yes. So long enough to acquire at least 100 videos on their channel. And one thing that we recommended to them right away was, did you think about titling? A lot of these videos have no description. This video is 55 minutes and the sound sucks. Do you really want this as part of your brand? This is, probably not serving a purpose for your audience. So what we did was go through and we audited the whole channel. We gave SEO-friendly titles to every video, thinking of what people search versus what Hazelden wanted people to be searching for. We added descriptions that made sense for every video, added links to that specific substance abuse program. They have some that are just for youth. They have programs that are just for medical professionals. So sending traffic driving links in the descriptions, and just the trust from a client to go in and do that entire challenging and, exciting project. But the second everything was updated, we saw a traffic spike, and it continues to spike. So it's just a micro example of how you can take a challenging project and have social media and SEO success.
Love it. That reminds me, I recently heard a stat, 75% of CEOs watch YouTube videos on a daily basis. Wow. And I do believe that, they say that too, but it's like, oh, hello. Great story, thank you.
I'll give you a little bit more of a macro example. If you want to pull up my online care Facebook page. This page just launched in the end of July, and so Blue Cross is totally in its infancy with social media, which is in its own infancy. We just launched this page thinking about the state fair, and really the onus for launching it was a conversation with the strategic interactive marketing firm that we work with about where traffic comes from and how important social is to Google. And we sat down and talked about, okay, we're going to be at the Minnesota State Fair, this is a big deal. And we sat down with them and they said, you understand that 1/3 of Google's, what they're kind of feeling for, 35% of that comes from social channels, which is huge. And basically, Google is saying, you know what, if someone's going to interact with you on social, then that's a really good buy-in. So we sat and talked about it. We're like, well, when is our corporate Facebook page launching? I said, well, not till late September. Well, that's way past the fair. We can't do that. So we wanted to really promote Online Care Anywhere. And to give you a little background, Online Care Anywhere is a online doctor service. I'll do my little sales plug. It's amazing. If you want to see a doctor for anything online, anything like you go to like a minute clinic for urgent care, you can see a doctor right there. We target a lot of moms because you can spend 10 minutes online with a doctor instead of having to go all the way to urgent care. You don't spend half your day dealing with that. So this was a really big plug for us. It's a great service. It's $45. So there you go, online for anywhere.mn.com. So that's what we were doing at the fair, right? We were talking about that, and we realized that there's a huge audience. Obviously, a lot of families out at the fair. We were giving away free visits. We gave a coupon code out for that, and we realized that we really need to go social with it because social will really drive traffic to that website, and we have already seen the results of that in just a couple months. Like I said, we started getting into July. When we went to the fair, we had like 200 fans, which I was like, wow, this is really great, guys. We're up to like, 1645 today? Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of that, the interesting thing that I learned from that is that paid has worked really well for us. We have put up some money behind it. When I say money, I mean, I think it's only $2,000 for major efforts, and that's not very much money for a company of our size, to really get people to like the page and to interact with the page. We did a lot of fun things. The macro example is we had a photo booth out at the fair, and that was kind of something we did sort of just to get people to walk over to the booth. And I'm like, well, duh, let's make these photos more social. What do people interact with more? So you can see there's a whole bunch of photo booth photos. We had people walk over every day, and kind of the missed opportunity, because we did it so quickly, was it would have been great to encourage people to tag themselves in photos, but that didn't happen. And there we go, is my favorite photo. I'm really proud of this, you guys. Senator Al Franken, I'm not going to be partisan at all, one way or the other, because he is an elected official, was just down the booth from us. his booth was about 2 booths down, and I walked over to his PR guy and said, do you think Senator Franken might have a minute and can walk over to our booth, because that would be really cool, and people would really interact with it. And they did. I mean, you can see we got a whole bunch of likes on that, several comments, one funny one about, I wish I was a politician in the Fort Lake property. It's like, well, I'm not really on the lake, it just looks like it. But he was great, it was really funny. He walked over and he's like, why do you want a photo of me? He's totally being the comedian that he is. But we put some paid money behind it. I think we had something like 30,000 views on that photo, and ended up getting, what was it, 58 likes maybe. So, yeah, so that was a big deal. I mean, that was a really good example of how people interact with a known entity, and it really helped us drive a lot of traffic to that page and drive up our likes.
Can you just explain more what you mean by paid behind that specific photo? Just what did you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. That's a great question. So what we did is I worked with our agency, and they created a sponsored post out of this on Facebook, if you're familiar with that. So I don't know exactly who they targeted. Mainly our main target was fairgoers. So if you had a post that said, I'm going to be at the state fair, you'd probably be hearing from us and seeing that Senator Franken was there in a way, kind of the general audiences that we knew would be good online care anywhere targets. Moms, actually we target a lot of people who shop online, because it's like, well, if you're willing to shop online to buy a TV or buy a car, you might be willing to go online and see a doctor. So that was a target for us. So, and we stayed within the state of Minnesota. We did a geographic state for that, because it made sense, because we're Minnesota State Fair, and also we're only allowed to market in Minnesota, just because that's the way we're ruled. So that was kind of what we did, and then we actually shared it with Blue Cross Association, and they put, actually not that photo, but there's another one of some girls eating corn that they put up on their page, and that actually drew a ton of likes too, and had like 30,000 views because their association shared it. It should be in the gallery there somewhere, maybe, yeah, that one in the corner, the bottom right corner. Yeah.
This one?
Yep, so that one we shared with the Blue Cross Association. I asked them to like the page, and they did, and they actually shared that photo, and we got a ton of likes out of that, and they, through their share, I think they had like 70 likes on their share, and these are people like all over the nation who have no affiliation with the Minnesota State Fair, but, you know, who doesn't like corn, right?
Such a good point. The more you can involve people and get their friends on board for your brand. Awesome. Very good. That's a fun one. And good for you for getting Senator on
That was really fun.
Very good. Okay, so great example. So another question that's kind of a fun one. What have you been up to lately with your social strategy? Social media is always changing, we know that. What do you do to keep it fresh and fun? I mean, are we all in a challenge there? One of the hardest things to do is probably try to make it fun. So what do you guys do?
Okay, so I kind of have two answers here. The first is being a public relations and social media marketing agency. Okay, I'm really bad with metaphors, but how does it go? If you're the shoemaker's son or daughter, your shoes suck. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Okay, so our focus every day is to our client. We're billing hours on projects. So thinking about our social channels kind of takes the back burner a lot of the time, so that's where I'm going with that metaphor. But as social media director, one of my big roles has been to maintain our social channels. So it's been fun, just as an agency, to continue to be a thought leader in best practices and making sure that we're doing what we're recommending to our clients all the time. I'm sure you feel the pain, Sarah. It's exciting.
It's hard to do,
yeah.
But when you do it, it's fun.
Yeah, so that's been a big focus for us, and one of the fun and fresh ways we've been doing it, we launched, shameless plug, Mcafee, our blog last fall. It's almost been a year. Oh, a year. This is great. So it's mcafee.com. Yes. So launching a blog has been something that we've wanted to do as an agency for a long time. A lot of our clients themselves have experts in thought leadership positions that blogs really lend themselves to, so we've been recommending the strategy to other companies for a long time, helping build them, helping write them, help promote them and advertise them. So launching our own was its own experiment, and it's been really fresh and fun. But yeah, so there's my response. I'll pass it over to you.
Let me quick ask, are you one of the main writers, Christina? Or
Yes.
do you do the blogging? Very good. I get your emails. I love them. They're
Thank
so
you.
informative and seems like, I don't know why, but it feels like, this topic was just in my head, and now you're sending me an email about it, so it's awesome.
Yeah, Paul Mcafee is the owner of Mcafee Public Relations, and the two of us spearhead most of the posts, but we try to wrap in all the staff. Like Allie Buckneberg, she has a specialty in travel, so she's written a couple travel PR posts for us. Abra is a rock star in social. She's also does a lot with blogger relations, which is something that's evolved for our agency. The traditional media relations, tons of outlets are going away. There aren't as many newspapers, so we do pitch a lot of bloggers for companies. Golden Plump Chicken, we reach out to food bloggers and mommy bloggers. So that's a fun area that Abra and I have teamed up on a lot. And Deanna is our measurement specialist, so she's written about clout scores and different ways to measure your social programs and your influence. So.
Thank you.
Any questions for Christina?
So how are you making it
So,
fun and fresh?
So with Stream, I'm fairly new to Stream, and my position's brand new. So what's fun and fresh for me is that when I started there were so many things that they wish they could do, they just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. So they're having me do a bunch of different projects, and the great part about it is that we're seeing a lot of results on the projects. A lot of the recruiters I'm working with just didn't have the time or the skill to go on different areas. So now that we have actually social media out there and we have engagement, we're actually up in the 21st century now. It's important. I think there's a lot of businesses out there that are afraid to start getting involved in social media and get involved in the 21st century. A lot of people still want to do traditional, which is fine. But I feel you have to break out of your comfort zone and test different areas. Basically to see the results, and we're seeing dramatic results just in a month. How people are engaging, and you can tell that people are waiting for something like this. And I'm excited to see the results starting in 2014,
When did you start?
a month ago. So we're seeing a lot of results, a lot of engagement, and I'm very busy, very busy. So it's just me and more of a bare bones kind of a role. So a lot of people in my department don't know anything about what I'm doing. So it's kind of nice and kind of good, but it's one of those things where I take control and I see results of it by doing an ROI. I'll talk about that later, but it's quite exciting.
Thank you.
You know, I think for us, thinking about healthcare insurance, one of the first things, I've been at Blue Cross for just over a year now, and I did an audit pretty early on. Social media was going to be part of my position, and so I did a competitive audit and spent a lot of time honestly thinking about, as I was alluding to before, what is the right social media space for Blue Cross as a health insurer, and do we need to be on Facebook? And this is not our first venture into Facebook. It's our first venture as a corporate Facebook page. We had one specific to our Do campaign, which most people would affiliate with the guy that danced in the red sweater in the commercials. His name is Dexter. So yeah, he is, and that's his real name. I know, I'm like, that's cute. You guys give him a name? Like, no, that's his real name, Laura. He's from California. He's an actor. He's great. I've never met him because they haven't done as much in the last year. But so there was a Facebook page just for that campaign. It had about 2,000 fans, and it was pretty stagnant, and it was all. It didn't follow social best practices by any means, and it just kind of was done for the sake of being done, I think. So we looked at it and we're like, how do we talk as a health insurance company in social space, and what do we need to do, and do we even need to be on Facebook? We had a Twitter account, it's at Blue Cross MN. So they're like, here Laura, you have Twitter now. I'm like, great, what do we talk about? Oh, we don't know. I'm like, great, okay. So I kind of started in saying, well, I know it's safe for me to talk about healthy living tips, and so that's kind of still a lot of what we do, and then share kind of instant news updates. It's challenging because healthcare is changing, and there's a lot going on with the Affordable Care Act, and we have to be very careful because I don't want to link to an article about Obamacare and have someone think that that's Blue Cross endorsing it, because I can't do that on behalf of my company unless we do endorse it. So that's an interesting challenge in that space. And so a lot of what we ended up doing to kind of keep it fun and fresh with this is celebrate living in Minnesota and all the great things that come with that. So if you follow us, you'll see not only some great information about what we offer as a company, but we don't want to talk at people, we want to talk with people and join a conversation. So like we had Child Health Day up there, we had the Wild Opener. You guys only have a week, so give me a little room. But So, and a lot of what we're talking about is what makes Minnesota great. We're celebrating local festivals. So if Redwood Falls has some cool festival you want me to talk about at Blue Cross, let me know, okay? I will, because it's really
we
cool
have
to
a
celebrate
chamber
that.
director and we have a bunch
Yeah.
of people in here taking that note.
Yeah, perfect. So, I mean, seriously, we have like, one of them I have coming up is for Northfield Days. They have a festival coming up. Things like that to celebrate that we are a Minnesota brand. Blue Cross actually started out in Minnesota. And so we really wanted to celebrate that on our Facebook page and talk about that and find ways to engage with people, kind of meet you people where they are. So that's a lot of where we're keeping it fun and fresh, is talking about healthy living and celebrating like the Minnesota and all of that. This is a really great opportunity for us to connect with people in a new way.
Awesome. Correction, 2 chamber directors in here. That's great, I love it. Good stories, guys. I have so many questions that I want to go off the cuff here with, but we'll stick to it. But okay, okay.
Challenge us. We trust you.
Okay, so you all have different businesses, and Justin, you're kind of really the man for your social at your company, but we're finding more and more that we need to involve the entire team and everybody in the business. And Christina, you at a company who does that, I'm guessing it's a little easier to kind of tell people, well, you have to be involved and you have to help us with our social. And Laura, do you involve, how do you involve everybody in your company to help with the social media aspect? Because I think that's something that's becoming more and more needed. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think social media is, I think you've mentioned a couple times, the human, the personal relationship. So involving more people inherently makes it more human and more authentic. A lot of our clients have no social channels, so we'll start them, we'll write the posts, we'll post them, but our goal is always to hand it off, because if it's internal, there are those little conversations on a Friday morning that you're like, that would be an awesome post, let's put it up right now. Or there's like little burgeoning idea of something that's hot in the industry that I would never know about, but your boss's son might have mentioned to you at a party. So just keeping those content sources really authentic is important. But then another piece of it that we talked about on the way in is, where does social live in a company? I personally think the public relations department, but I'm a little biased. It could be the advertising marketing person. It lives really in a B2C type of setting. The customer service role is so important. Responding to one of our clients is Golden Plum Chicken. There's something in my chicken package that needs to be a customer service question. There's a crisis situation that needs to be the PR department. There's just all sorts of different people that the social media content can touch. I think it's best localized in PR, but coordinating with all the departments, which, so it's kind of like one person, but everyone at the same time is my best practice.
Yeah, I'm assuming you just have to have a good plan to who's going to reply to those types of things.
Yeah, I think it's good to have one person or 2 people max being the gatekeeper
Yeah,
for tone.
good. That's good.
Yeah, I would definitely second what Christina's saying. At Blue Cross, I am the person who manages all of our social media channels, but I work extremely closely with our marketing department. So I'm on the PR team. There's 3 of us right now on the PR team. And there's about 20 people on the marketing team, so we kind of play best friends. We're still figuring out our strategy. I've written a strategy for us. I've made suggestions. I get granted I'm biased too, I'm a PR person. But I want it to be in PR, external communications. I don't think it really matters whether it's in communications or marketing, as long as they're playing nice together. And in some companies, I was at Luther Seminary for 6 years, and that was very small, and I was marketing and communications kind of all wrapped into one. And in a lot of cases, that's the case, is that you wear many hats. So I can kind of speak to that experience too, knowing how stretched thin you get when you only have just you doing social. So I think it matters a lot. I think you have to have both. I think you have to have that awareness of all the things that can happen. Customer service is super important. I have to have a really good relationship with them, because believe it or not, people sometimes tweet things that aren't very nice to their insurance companies. No, it never happens. But I think that's an important best practice, actually, to think about about too is that you have to have those relationships. And I always tell my colleagues, especially as we're doing more, I said, I'm a very shallow well. I only have so many ideas. And to Christina's point, you have to talk to a lot of people. I can only come up with so many creative and clever, tweets and Facebook posts, but there's a lot of people that have really, really smart ideas. I was in a meeting the other day and my colleague was saying, he's like, I have a daughter who has repeat ear infections. I'm like, well, duh, I need to be talking about that on my online care page. It's a great example of something that a lot of people can relate to. And I wouldn't have thought of on my own because I don't have any kids. I'm like, oh, repeat ear infections, I guess people deal with that. And I think that's a good example. One best practice I learned from a conference and from talking to others who work in social is just to have, and I think you can do this in a company of any size, is to have a social media steering committee of sorts, or have a group of people who are really talking about it and giving ideas together and meeting pretty regularly. Some companies do it by having like an email box where everybody dumps in ideas. I don't think I want to go there with Blue Cross. I have 3,500 people that could be doing that. I don't want that in my inbox. But to some extent, you do need people across departments. There can be something really interesting happening in IT that could relate socially. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not at a Blue Cross, but there's a lot of different ideas and interesting events and anecdotes or clever things that people don't know who I am, but they might know that we have a Facebook page and they want to share that idea for us to post. So I think it's really important to have those relationships kind of enterprise-wide.
Yeah, that's very good. I really love the idea of the email box for ideas. Maybe it's something else other than an email box, but that's awesome. It's a great idea.
To correct on Sarah's points, sorry, I do have a team I work with. I have three other marketers I work with. They're mostly for the corporate side. They do write the articles, the press releases, and do most of the corporate. I work alone for our local sites we have across North America. We also have the recruiters that work hands-on basically as well. They're the one that push out the message and get the results done for job fairs and grand openings in different sites. So I'm not all 100% alone, but I do work with teams
We'll
as well.
still call you the man.
Sounds good. Okay.
Very good. Thank you guys. Yeah.
I don't know how much time we have, but do we want to show the video or
Yes.
is that going to be
That'd be great.
close? Okay.
No, we want to show the video.
So one of Sarah's questions to us, which she can ask verbatim, but I'll summarize it in my best words, is just the idea of relationships. And it's something that we heard a lot about at Social Media Marketing World. Just to remember that everyone is human and we're not computers and not just companies talking about ourselves, but remembering who you're talking with. I recently came back from an inbound marketing conference by HubSpot. I'm not sure if you're familiar with HubSpot. Great ebooks if you want more social media tips. But they had a 3-day conference in Boston last month. It's a model that our agency is working toward a lot, using the website as a hub for really good content and using social to drive traffic to it, drive traffic to the downloads of your free ebook, getting the contact information from leads and nurturing those leads. So it's a whole new way of doing sales. But they opened the conference with this video and I just thought it was really interesting and Sarah wants to show it. So here we are.
Don't call me the customer. Don't call me the consumer or the buyer. I'm not an order number. I'm not an entry in your database. I'm not an opportunity in your CRM. I'm a person. And while I may or may not buy your product, that doesn't mean I don't matter to you. But the world has changed, and me along with it. I'm more informed, more engaged, and more connected than ever. I'm also more opinionated, and I'm quick to share my opinions with friends and strangers alike. Even though I'm not in your store or on your website, doesn't mean you shouldn't care about delighting me. My feedback improves your product. My recommendations bring in your customers. My happiness affects your bottom line. I can be your most powerful advocate. Or I can be your loudest protester. I can make you or break you with one simple post. Fact is, my voice has influence. My reach is endless. And more so than ever, I'm in control. And as for those companies who refuse to respect me, who spam me, interrupt me, and annoy me, well, I'm leaving you behind.
But that isn't you. You're the ones who actually get it. You focus less on hammering me with messages and more on delivering what I want and need when and where I need it. You don't just sell me a product or judge me by my customer lifetime value. You appreciate me as an individual. You connect with me. You delight me. And you understand that winning my loyalty means earning the trust of my community. But more than anything, you know that on both sides of every interaction, every conversation, and every purchase are two people who just want to be treated as human. Together, we can stop acting like strangers and start connecting as people. Together, we can build a new, more human world. Together, we will transform. Together, we are inbound.
Wow, talk about the power of a video.
Yeah.
That was good. That's awesome. Now we all need to go home and care about people. Go back to the office and care about people. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Christina. I want to ask a few more questions, and one of my favorite questions that we kind of discussed that I had for you was, are there any secrets that you'd love to share with us, or what have been some of your aha moments in social media marketing? We all have different ways of doing social, but what for you would you think would be a good secret to share with us?
I'll start. My secret's more of a personal secret, actually. I went to social media marketing world back in April, and we learned a lot from all the different speakers out there. And one of the speakers worked with LinkedIn, and shared some amazing secrets on how LinkedIn can basically boost up your traffic and performance online. So I took down all the secrets that she gave me, and I can share it with you guys. But the secrets that she gave me, I implemented them into my LinkedIn page. And within a week, I started getting traffic, people asking me questions about social media, about internet marketing, jobs. Companies calling me like crazy and emailing me, trying to make for an interview, come for a job. And this job I'm at now, that's how they found me. I was at a job before, and they gave me a call, said, I found you on LinkedIn. We've been looking for someone with your skills. We're able to offer you this and that, and we want you to come work for me. So it was amazing how I didn't have to go out and look for a job or look for people. They reached out to me because how I proposed myself on LinkedIn as someone expert in social media. So really effective, and a lot of people don't take advantage of how LinkedIn can really improve how you are and their image of you by just having content on there. So it's really amazing how that secret really helped me to become where I am today, actually.
So were you sharing content? Were you putting more out about you? What was like one thing that you did differently?
Sure. So on LinkedIn, I don't know how familiar you guys are with LinkedIn, but there's a link that people can click on to go towards you. So what I did is I edited the link, and luckily enough, there was a link called Expert in Social Media that was available. Throw myself as expert in social media, and then each job I've worked at, you have a little area, for a description, let's say account manager or marketing director. In that area, just list other areas of things you've done in that job, like account management, project management, social media. What it does when people do searches, they're able to get that actually result and populate as a search online. Or when you go do a Google search for someone in social media, you're basically boosting up your traffic by just putting those keywords in there on LinkedIn. And those are some of the little things on there, and to make sure your profile is fully completed. You have recommendations, you have people on there that are actually connected with. I mean, I have 500 plus connections because of networking I've done. And networking I've done is just from doing this. People are reaching out to me, wanting to be my friend, they want to share articles with me. Just that engagement was huge.
Nice. Was that Vivica Van Rossen?
It was, yes.
Very good.
Yep.
Colleen Bennett went to her too.
I sat right next to
She's a
her.
great LinkedIn expert.
osmosis.
It's funny because she's from Colorado and we started talking about how I had lived out there for a year and we actually knew a couple of the same people.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, here you are in San Diego and you know, we just started talking and pretty soon here I knew somebody she knew and.
Power of networking in person.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin. That's great tips. Appreciate it.
One thing I learned that I've taken back a lot into my work is thinking about it. It plays really well to the video Christina shared, and it was just a very aha way to think about it for me was by a session I sat in with Mark Schaefer, who wrote the Dow Twitter, which is a really good book if you haven't read it. It takes about 90 minutes to read, and he's really smart. So just to get an overview of Twitter, it's not very expensive either. So there's a plug for him. I like Mark, he's a good guy. We kind of bonded at the conference, it was cool. Anyways, but what Mark talked about that really struck me was the sense of how social media kind of brings us back to the sales process the way we've always known it except for the last 100 years. How traditionally we will go down to the general store and we know each other and we have a handshake and we have a transaction and it's all about trust and relationships. And how for the, with the advent of radio and then TV and then the internet, everything is kind of spammed at us. I mean, I love Mad Men, but I think of like Don Draper and how he, will throw ads at people and it works really well for a long time. But what social's done is brought us back to that place where you want to have that personal relationship and how you really want to talk one-on-one with someone. I was sharing with them in the car just yesterday. I had a woman on an online care who's from Michigan send us a message on our Facebook page and say, I don't have insurance. I want to use online care anywhere. I live in Michigan. Can I use this? And I wrote her a note back and said, if you are not a member of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota, yes, you can use this. It's $45. And yes, we are open in Michigan. And she wrote back and was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm so excited I can talk to a doctor for $45. It's affordable. Granted, if she's going to have a serious surgery, we're not going to be able to help her. She probably, I would recommend her getting insurance, but I'm not going to recommend that over Facebook. But the point is that, she had a one-on-one conversation with my brand that she couldn't have had without that Facebook. I mean, she could have sent an email and she could have ended up spending 30 minutes trying to find someone in customer service who ultimately probably didn't answer her question. But she got back to that point, what Mark said, about how it's that one-on-one interaction. She was interacting with a person, not with a brand. And when you interact with a brand, you feel like you're talking to a person, and social media lets us do that. And it's super powerful for brands. And we have to remember that when we talk to people in the social space, that it is about community and that face-to-face relationship. And it's not about, when I talk to Target, I want to be thinking I'm talking to the person at Target who I like, who represents the brand, and not some robot on the other end, because I know there's a person behind there. So that's what social really lets us do, which is huge, and I think that's a really important thing to remember.
Awesome advice. Thank you.
I just have one aha moment that I want to share from social media marketing world that I said like once a week for the last 6 months, I think. I think it was Chris Brogan. They did kind of like a panel like this, but like, sorry, way cooler guys.
You're not referring to the moderator, are you?
No, not the moderator. It was just like, it was Mark Schaefer, Chris Brogan, and then two other awesome. It was like a superstar panel. I was like,
but social media geeks,
yeah,
rockstar
totally.
stage.
Lots of notes from that session. But the one thing that made so much sense is a teeny tiny wrinkle. Does anybody here maintain a blog or read a blog on a regular basis? Make sure you have the email option on your blog, because the RSS feeds there are people who use them, but there are a lot of people who don't. And just having the email functionality, tons of blogs don't have it. And that's the easiest way for most people to connect with the blog. And I've just recommended that a couple times to clients already, and it's just made a big difference. So, my little tip for you.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you. Fun. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. So there's a couple things we wanted to cover. talked a lot about relationships already, but one thing that you touched on, Justin, was the ROI of social media, like that big buzzword. How is your company dealing with ROI? I mean, is it a factor? Do you have to report what you're doing on social, or it's just so important that Justin's grabbing the mic, like, Drizzly's handed it off. We got an answer.
Yes, with ROI, it's huge, especially in a global company like ours. We focus a lot on cost per click, cost per applicant, cost per hire, cost per source. So if we're not getting the return on investment on our hire, and we're spending thousands of dollars on a source, we're going to cancel that source, or we're going to tweak what we're currently doing now. It's huge. I report it weekly, and even monthly sometimes. It's important basically to show how you're getting results, what you're doing. A company that doesn't have ROI, to be honest, to me, it's a failure. Because you gotta basically track your investment, what you're doing, because before this, I was a media consultant, and I worked with a lot of small, medium-sized businesses. It's amazing how many companies throw marketing money, dollars away by just throwing something, hoping it sticks. And they don't have a marketing person that helps them. Their business owner feel like, oh, I'll throw this here, that, and there. They need to have someone actually track what they're doing, so they're not wasting money, but actually targeting the right audience and demographic. So yes, I think ROI is very important, and you need the right tools. Like we use, tools like Radiant 6. We use tools like Hootsuite, and we have Taleo, and different kind of programs that we use that will attract these different sources. And to your point, yeah, it's one of those things where we do every day.
I think too, on the tools end of it, the reality is that I do some of it on my own, but I also partner with really good agencies. So as much as you can partner and outsource if you have the budget for it, that helps a lot. If nothing else, for time too. I mean, I do some on my own because I feel like it's important and just to see what's working. I use Hootsuite and I track all my URLs through Twitter to see what are people actually even responding to, and that's definitely shifted what I've posted about because I see what's actually moving the needle, and so that matters. I think you definitely have to watch that, and it also makes a case for it. I mean, we've gotten more money from our leadership to do more with social media because we've proven that it's working, and where the areas working that we're thinking smart about it, and so partnering internally and externally, if you have the budget and can afford to do it, will only help you grow in that area. And the good thing with social, especially with Facebook, is that it's pretty easy to track demographically where you're making a change and where things are moving forward. And to remind people that it is, when you think about the sales funnel, that it's at the very top and it just makes it wider. You're probably not going to have someone come on Facebook and purchase your product, but you're going to get your brand known, and that's an important way to think about it. And that's a very, very important part of sales.
I love that. If I was tweeting right now, the part you said where we get more budget money because we're proving it's working. Absolutely. Thank you. Christina, do you have any comments about?
Sure, yeah. I think there's, like Laura said, there's the baseline with Facebook. You can do likes and comments and shares. And I think that is a really good base layer for a lot of companies, but it really depends on what you're looking for. A lot of our clients are smaller and really specific audiences, so it's not necessarily the number of likes, but the engagement. So that's something that we're evolving. How do you measure engagement? What makes sense for your company? So that's my thought on that it really depends, but at least, make sure you're using the measurement capabilities that the social media offers for you.
It also helps you know that you're reaching the right people, especially with Facebook, because it shows you affinity interests and whether you have men or women and where they live, and so much crazy detail. It's frightening, and I tell my friends how much I can know as someone who's behind the scenes, and they kind of freak out. But it's great. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, you can see. So yeah, there we go. You can see so much in that admin panel. I mean, like, look at Sarah's reach right there. She had 1,600 reaches. Yay for me.
That was for you guys.
Yay, thanks guys. But I mean, that's huge, and you can see where you're really, you're actually making an impact. And so that's great that you have 74 likes on something. But are those 74 people that really matter to what you're doing. And to Christina's point, that can, it's one thing to be Best Buy and get 200 likes on something, but if they're not actually your core business customers, who cares? If you get 5 likes and they're people who are really going to engage with your brand and move it, that's more important and more valuable. And Facebook, more than any other social media platform that I've seen, will really tell you that.
So did you all know that you can look at your Facebook page and find all of these wonderful details under the insights? When you go to No,
Yeah,
good.
spend some time in the insights, guys, because they're huge. Yeah, find an hour and click through all the different areas. It will tell you so much, and it will also help you, like I was talking about our paid media. We knew what to pay because Facebook will say, hey, this one's been reaching, it has been trending pretty well, so maybe you should put a little bit of money behind it. And I've done everything from like a $50 budget to a like $1,000 budget, and depending on what you have, and it can really move the needle. I mean, it really, and the good thing with when you put money behind it is you only pay when you get an activity. So if I put $50 down, I don't lose $50. I might only spend 14 of it because that's how much I'm willing to pay per click.
I got a question. Who are you paying?
You pay Facebook.
Facebook.
You pay Facebook. So what
They
you do,
monetize.
yep, and Facebook will, actually the great thing about doing the paid is you can really hone it down to who you want. So if you know that your audience is really only geographically in a certain area, or you only want to target women, and you only want to target people who think that turtles are really interesting, you can be super, super detailed. So you can track demographically, you can also track based on affinity. So if your brand is, like if you work for Harley Davidson, you can only track people who are interested in motorcycles and they make comments and they have affinity for that. Maybe you also know that people who like that also like horses. So you track people who like motorcycles and horses. It's a weird combination, but then you can know that. And so I'm not wasting my money to find people who are 14-year-old girls who have no relationship with my brand. I'm targeting maybe 35 to 50-year-old men who are really interested in my brand. So you can be really, really detailed about it. And I have done that for when I was at Luther, which is a much smaller company. I think we spent $300 in a month, and I went from having 175 links to over 5,000 on a page we created. For $300, that's pretty good. And now these people are engaging with us
So you were
regularly.
still doing the work ahead of time.
Yep, we did it ahead of time, and it kind of depends. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Sponsor posts work really well because you show up right in people's news feeds, and you can decide if this post is the right one that I want this audience to hear. And again, it can be just anybody. It can be super detailed. It really depends on what you want out of it. And you can also do the side posts, the Facebook ads you'll see on the side. Again, and this is all, you can all do this by demographic. You can be super, super detailed about it. Go ahead.
For the record, I spend like $5 to promote a post.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, the minimum is $5 to promote a post, and ads, you could run $2 a day, $1 a day, $3 a day, if you want to try it out. If you don't have a big budget, but it still makes a huge difference.
Even for a very small investment, it can make a difference. I mean, I work for a big company now, so we can spend, $5,000, $10,000 a month maybe on it, if we're really promoting something heavily. But before, I maybe had a $300 a month budget or a $50 a month budget, and it still made a difference. I mean, even for, like Sarah said, for a minimum of $5, you can do that, and it makes a big, big difference. Like, those are the sponsor ones on the side, so you can do and Facebook will tell you, hey, this is what it might look like, and you can modify it a little bit to how you want it to be. But for $5, you can put something like that up, and then you can say, I only want to talk to people here. I only want to talk to this very small demographic of people, so you know that you're only talking to the people you want to. So if I'm not your demographic, then I'm not going to see your ad. Only those who you decide are your demographic will. I'm sure Sarah knows a ton about it and can give you guys all a great tutorial on it too. So work with her, right? Or you can call me, but Sarah, I'm sure will be a great expert.
No, that's awesome information, and I think it's something that we all need to start looking into and budgeting for and tapping into if we really want to do good Facebook marketing.
Yeah. The analogy I use a lot, and that I use with my boss because he didn't understand social at all, it's like talking to the kids in the other playground, right? So I sit on my playground right here, and these kids are all talking to each other, but maybe the kids on the playground down the street are really interested in what I have to offer, but they don't know about it. And if I spend a little bit of money, they're going to learn about it. So that's the analogy I use. It kind of works.
Thank you.
I do not have kids.
Did he have kids?
But did he? He does. I don't know how attached he is to his kids.
That's right.
No, that's not a good answer.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys just one more question before we go. But again, this has been amazing information and all across the board. And if anybody else has questions too, but one quick personal question. what is your favorite social network personally? What do you use the most personally?
Personally, professionally.
Well, for some of us, it melds together, right?
Facebook for friends, Twitter for networking, LinkedIn for professional. In that order probably is how I use them. But I mean, LinkedIn I used a lot more when I was job hunting, so maybe I would have flipped LinkedIn and Twitter at that point.
Good, thanks.
I agree. LinkedIn, personal, Facebook, and Twitter business. Another thing too is that we might have great information, but I get most of my information by on LinkedIn, like joining groups to get news feeds from them, or even Facebook and Twitter, liking certain places and social media. Like Social Media Examiner, I get their emails all the time, and I learn everything I know from those sites, really. And so if you want to learn a lot of data, you basically can go onto my groups on my LinkedIn page and like those, and you'll receive constant emails. It's overwhelming sometimes, but it's very, very educational.
I go in phases, but I'm on a Twitter kick right now, so Christina Milla, if you want to follow me, tweet with me. I'm shameless. But more personally, I like to dabble in new social networks to see what the potential might be for clients. And I've been Snapchatting a little bit. And they have like that big announcement yesterday, Stories is coming out. And then Vine and Instagram just playing with videos and filters, just seeing what kind of potential there is. But personally, it's Twitter right now.
Awesome. Okay, really quick, I know we're over our time, but are you using Google Plus?
I have it, I don't use it.
No.
No,
Don't tell guys how cocky.
You should be on Google Plus if you have a business. It's awesome for search. Be on it. You might want to think of it more as a listing, or if you can, use it as like a Facebook page or a LinkedIn company page, that type of content. But definitely be on it if you want any search results for your company at all, which you do. So I would say yes in that regard, but otherwise.
And they're hashtags. They're now appearing in search results for Google. Google
Yeah.
Plus, I should say.
Google's just a bully. You have to be on it.
Yes, you do. But there's
Yeah.
all geeky people like on there.
Thank you everyone so much for your time.
Thank you.
Any questions for our panel? Well, yeah. Can we just stay here for the rest of the day and talk to you guys? We sure appreciate you coming out. It's awesome. Thanks for getting up so early, and thanks for sharing so much great expertise, information, all of it. Thank you. It's great to see you guys again.